Welcome to this deep dive, where today we are strapping you into something that completely shatters this common stereotype. You know, usually when we talk about supercars, there's this underlying expectation of fragility.
Right, yeah, it's very binary for most exotic cars. I mean, if the humidity is just a little too high, you leave it in the climate-controlled garage.
Exactly. You wait for that perfectly sunny, dry track day. It's almost accepted as, like, the cost of doing business with a supercar.
Yeah, you pamper them.
You do. But our mission today is to understand what happens when an unstoppable, highly engineered force meets a very immovable concrete object. We've pulled data from Nissan's engineering white papers, track telemetry logs, and the physics engine updates from Gran Turismo 7.
Oh man, it is the ultimate stress test for a car.
It really is. I'm your host, and with our resident car expert here, we are digging into a heavy-hitting Japanese supercar that practically laughs at bad weather, the legendary Nissan GT-R, specifically the 2017 model.
Fantastic year for that car.
Right. And we aren't just looking at the car in a vacuum. We're throwing it at one of the most punishing, unforgiving racetracks in all of North America.
Canada's notorious Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve.
Yes. So, to start us off, give us the baseline. Just looking at the technical readouts for the 2017 GT-R, it is an absolute monster.
Oh, it's an absolute beast. At the heart of it, you have the famed VR38 DKT engine.
That's a mouthful.
It is, yeah. But basically, that's a 3.8-liter V6 twin turbo. And for the 2017 iteration, Nissan really squeezed out 572 horsepower, or PS at 7,000 RPM.
But, I mean, raw horsepower isn't exactly rare these days. You can go out and buy a family sedan with 500 horsepower.
Exactly. Horsepower is cheap now.
Right. So what makes the GT-R so distinct, it's how it actually gets that power to the pavement, doesn't it?
Precisely. The real engineering marvel here is the ATTESA E-TS four-wheel drive system, because most traditional supercars are rear-wheel drive.
Which is why they get so sketchy when the road gets wet.
Yeah, you're asking just 2 tire contact patches in the back to handle all the acceleration and all the lateral grip. It's a recipe for spinning out.
So how is Nissan's system doing it differently? Because from the engineering papers we reviewed, it doesn't look like a standard, symmetrical all-wheel drive setup.
No, it's not at all. The ATTESA E-TS is incredibly sophisticated. It utilizes a rear transaxle layout.
Meaning the transmission is in the back.
Right, the transmission is actually sitting at the back of the car for better weight distribution.
Yep.
And under normal, dry driving conditions, it heavily biases power to the rear wheels, sometimes up to 100%.
So it basically feels and acts like a rear-wheel drive sports car.
Exactly. But there's this massive network of lateral G sensors, yaw rate sensors, and wheel speed monitors that are just constantly feeding data to the car's ECU. We're talking 100 times a second.
So it's constantly doing math while you're driving.
Yeah. Constant. And the moment those sensors detect that the rear tires are about to exceed their slip angle before you even realize you're losing traction as the driver, an electromagnetic clutch pack in the center differential engages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it instantly routes up to 50% of the engine's torque to the front wheels.
Okay, so with that all-wheel drive system, is this essentially an all-weather bullet train? Like, it actively pulls you out of a slide by using the front wheels to drag the car straight?
That's the perfect analogy. It's an all-weather bullet train. It's proactive rather than just reactive.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why it's sold globally and driven year-round in places like Hokkaido or Northern Europe. The traction is just overwhelming.
But let me push back a little here on the 2017 model. It's lauded as this massive evolution. But when you look at it from the outside, it still looks remarkably similar to the original R35 that debuted way back in 2007.
It does, yeah.
So was this really just a minor facelift to keep it relevant, or is there more to it?
It looks similar to the untrained eye, but aerodynamically and mechanically, the 2017 update was the biggest minor change in the car's entire lifespan.
Really?
Oh yeah. They essentially had to solve a massive physics problem, which was balancing cooling versus drag versus downforce.
Right, because you use horsepower, you generate more heat, you need more air flowing into the intercoolers and the radiators.
Exactly. So they enlarged the front grille, the V-motion grille, to pull in more cool air. But here's the aerodynamic catch-22.
What's that?
A larger grille acts like a parachute. It increases drag, which completely ruins your top speed on the straights.
Oh, right, because it's catching all that wind.
Yeah. So to counteract that drag penalty, the engineers had to completely reshape the hood. They reinforced it so it wouldn't deform at 300 kilometers per hour.
That's insane. The hood was actually bending at that speed.
On older models, yeah, slightly. The new reinforced hood allowed the air to cleanly detach and flow smoothly over the windshield instead of creating drag.
So they're constantly playing this high-speed game of whack-a-mole. You fix the cooling, but you ruin the drag. You fix the drag, you lose downforce.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act. They even reshaped the C-pillars at the rear to prevent vortex shedding.
Vortex shedding.
Yeah, those little turbulent pockets of air that pull backward on the car as it moves forward. And they paired all this aerodynamic refinement with an updated 6-speed dual-clutch transmission.
Which, from what I read, was a big deal.
Huge deal. It was significantly smoothed out compared to the really clunky, noisy gearboxes of the early R25s. Which actually brings us to the core philosophy of the GT-R.
Right, let's talk about that. Because looking at the source material, Nissan's chief product specialist at the time, Hiroshi Tamura, he had a very specific vision for this 2017 model.
He did. Tamura-san is a fascinating figure in the GT-R community.
He wasn't just chasing lap times at the Nürburgring anymore, was he?
No, not at all. He felt that just chasing raw track speed was too one-dimensional for what the car should be. He really wanted to emphasize the GT part of GT-R.
The Grand Touring aspect.
Exactly.
But wait, isn't that contradictory for a track car? I mean, if you want to demolish lap times, you rip out the sound deadening, you put in carbon fiber bucket seats, and you make the suspension bone-shatteringly stiff.
It is a massive contradiction. And that's what makes the engineering of the 2017 model so impressive.
Oh, so?
Well, a true Grand Tourer is supposed to be a car you can drive comfortably from Paris to Monaco.
Right.
But then take it to the track and just annihilate the competition. Tamura wanted to elevate the cabin refinement. He added acoustic glass, smoothed out the ride quality, all without dulling the car's razor-sharp edge.
And they had to respect the motorsport bloodline, too. I mean, you can't put a GTR badge on a soft, comfortable cruiser. The badge just carries too much weight.
Oh, the pedigree is practically sacred in Japan and globally. The R35 descends directly from the invincible Groupe racing era of the early 90s.
Right, the Godzilla era.
Yes. The older R32 GTRs were so dominant, utilizing an early mechanical version of that all-wheel drive system we talked about, that the Australian press literally nicknamed the car Godzilla.
Because it just destroyed the European and American racing establishment.
Exactly. It was a monster. And the modern R35 chassis has continued that legacy. It's dominated the Super GT series in Japan and competes in FIA GT3 all over the world.
So they have this hardcore Godzilla racing DNA, but for 2017, they're wrapping it in leather and trying to civilize it for the road.
Right, but, and this is where it gets incredibly fun for the Gran Turismo 7 players listening to the simulator, you are under absolutely no obligation to keep it simple.
I was wondering when we'd get to the game telemetry.
I have to share this GT7 update log trivia because it's just fun. In the game, players can take this refined 2017 GT-R and utilize the engine swap and modification features.
Using the official Nismo parts.
Yes, official Nismo parts. If you max out the turbochargers and completely remap the ECU, you can push this car to 1,037 brake horsepower.
Over 1,000 horsepower in a chassis designed for 572. That is terrifying.
It turns a refined Grand Touring car into an unhinged, rules-free monster. But there's a massive physical limitation that you simply cannot tune out.
What's the catch?
It's literally massive. The weight.
The weight problem.
Yes. Whether you are running the stock 572 PS or the swapped 1037 bhp, you are trying to accelerate, turn, and stop 1,770 kilograms of metal.
Nearly 2 tons. I mean, just for context for you listening, a modern Formula One car weighs around 798 kilograms.
Right.
The GT-R is more than double the weight of a purpose-built track car.
Yes, and that introduces the critical physics problem of weight transfer.
Hold on. For those of us just getting into racing physics, what exactly is weight transfer feeling like from the driver's seat?
Okay, so think about it like this. When you have 1,770 kilograms hurtling down a straightaway at 300 kilometers per hour, and you aggressively slam on those carbon ceramic brakes, the inertia of all that mass doesn't just instantly stop. It shifts violently forward.
Right, like the momentum carries forward and the suspension geometry physically pitches downward in the front.
Exactly. Your nose dives. But how does that actually degrade the car's cornering ability from a mechanical standpoint? It's all about the tire contact patch.
The literal few square inches of rubber touching the road.
Right. When you brake hard, that massive weight shift compresses the front springs. The front tires flatten out, which increases their contact patch and their grip. But at the exact same time, the rear suspension unloads.
Because the back of the car is lifting up.
Yes. The rear tires are essentially lifted, meaning their vertical load decreases drastically.
So the rear tires are practically tiptoeing on the asphalt.
Exactly. And if you introduce steering angle like, if you try to turn into a tight corner while those rear tires have no vertical load pushing them into the pavement, their slip angle exceeds the limit of grip.
And then what happens?
The back end of the car just swings out. It's like a runaway boulder. Basic physics.
So we have a heavily engineered, incredibly fast car that severely degrades its own rear grip under hard braking simply because of its sheer mass.
You got it.
So naturally, the ultimate test is to take it to a circuit that demands exactly that. Let's transition and talk about where in the world we are taking this 5,770 kilogram beast.
You're heading to Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve.
This track is a legend in its own right, and the setting is just incredibly unique.
It's stunning. It's a 4.361 kilometer circuit built right on Ile Notre Dame.
Which is an island, right?
Yeah, it's a man-made island sitting literally in the middle of the St. Lawrence River.
I always forget that it's man-made.
Yeah, it was originally dredged up and constructed for the 1967 Expo, the World's Fair.
Oh, wow.
And years later, somebody looked at the perimeter roads winding through this beautiful island park and realized, hey, it would make a phenomenal racing circuit. It officially opened for racing in 1978.
I've always loved circuits that utilize existing public park roads. They have a very distinct claustrophobic feel to them.
Very tough.
Yeah, the trees are right up against the barriers, the water is shimmering in the background, and there is virtually zero runoff area. If you make a mistake, you aren't sliding into a nice, safe gravel trap.
No, you are hitting a wall.
You're hitting concrete. And there is a deeply poignant piece of history painted right onto the starting grid here, isn't there?
There is, yes. Right on the asphalt at the start-finish line, you'll see the words Salut Gilles painted in massive white letters.
Which means, hi Gilles, honoring Gilles Villeneuve.
Yes. He was an absolute icon, a local Canadian hero who actually won the inaugural race, held on this very track in 1978, driving for Ferrari in front of his home crowd.
What a story.
It was amazing. But tragically, he died in a horrifying qualifying crash just a few years later at Zolder in Belgium. So to honor his legacy, they renamed this entire circuit after him. It's a permanent, beautiful tribute that every driver crosses on every single lap.
It's a really great piece of motorsport history. But while the tribute is beautiful, the actual layout of Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve is vicious, especially for our heavy GT-R.
Oh, it is actively trying to destroy the car. It is the quintessential stop-and-go layout.
What does that mean exactly for the car's setup?
Well, you don't get the long, sweeping, high-speed corners where the car can just settle onto its suspension and rely on aerodynamics and downforce.
Right.
Instead, the track is a series of massive, high-speed straights that are abruptly connected by painfully slow hairpins and tight chicanes.
So you are constantly accelerating to terminal velocity and then violently standing on the brake pedal.
Over and over and over. And think about what that means for a 770-kilogram car. The thermal shock to the brake rotors is immense.
Because they're working so hard to stop all that weight.
Yeah, you are going from ambient temperature on a kilometer-long straight to like 800 degrees Celsius in the braking zone in a matter of seconds. It cooks the brake fluid, it shreds the tires, and you are fighting that severe forward weight transfer we talked about at every single corner.
It sounds like an absolute endurance test for the mechanics of the car.
It is.
But if you survive all those hairpins, the ultimate danger on this track, the final boss, so to speak, is the final chicane.
The track definitely has teeth, and the final chicane is where it bites you. This complex sits right at the end of the Casino Straight, which is well over a kilometer long.
So you're at top speed.
You are entering the braking zone at absolutely terrifying speeds. And to survive the left-right flick of the chicane, you have to hit the perfect clipping point.
Wait, pause the action for a second. What exactly is a clipping point and why is it so vital right now?
Okay, so the clipping point is the apex. It's the spot where the car gets closest to the inside curve of the corner. And because of the GT-R's massive weight, hitting that clipping point isn't just about taking the shortest path.
What's it about then?
You are trying to straighten the corner as much as physically possible to avoid asking those overloaded tires to do too much lateral work.
Got it. So you were trying to minimize the steering angle so you don't spin.
Exactly, because if you miss the clipping point on the first left-hand curve, your car's mass is positioned incorrectly for the right-hand exit. Your exit trajectory is completely ruined.
So you drift wide.
You will naturally run wide, and on this specific corner, running wide doesn't mean putting a tire in the grass. It means you hit the wall of two.
It's the solid, unforgiving concrete barriers sitting flush against the outside edge of the exit curve. Right.
Just waiting to collect cars.
We have to dive into why it's called the Wall of Champions, because I think it's one of the most ominous names in all of motorsport.
It really is. It earned that name during the 1999 Formula One Canadian Grand Prix. During that single race weekend, that exact piece of concrete claimed 3 Formula One world champions.
3 of them?
Yeah. Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher, and Jacques Villeneuve, who incredibly is Gilles Villeneuve's son. They all crashed into its concrete face.
3 world champions in the same weekend, making the exact same microscopic error in judgment. That is wild.
Exactly. I mean, these are the most precise drivers on the planet and the most agile cars ever built, and they pushed just a fraction too hard, missed their clipping point by an inch, and smacked the concrete.
So the paddock started calling it the Wall of Champions.
Yep. The lesson is clear. If that wall can take out Michael Schumacher, it will absolutely take you out if you lose focus for even a millisecond.
It's intimidating just talking about it, but before we completely stress you out about slamming a beautiful GT-R into historic concrete, I want to add a really fun, relaxing detail from GT7.
Oh, Easter egg. Yes, Polyphony digital developers have such great attention to detail.
So GT7 added Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve in update 1.65, which was the Spec 3 update. And because this track is literally a public park on an island, real-life F1 broadcasts are occasionally interrupted by wildlife just wandering out of the trees.
Yeah, it's usually the local groundhogs, right? They just sit near the barriers.
Exactly. The track is famous for its groundhogs. So the GT7 developers actually programmed a hidden digital woodchuck into the grass near the barriers just before the final chicane.
That is so perfectly Gran Turismo. You are hurtling down the casino straight at 200 miles an hour. You're sweating bullets about managing your brake temperatures and weight transfer.
Bracing for impact with the Wall of Champions.
And there is just a digital groundhog sitting in the grass, silently judging your racing line.
Just watching to see if you survive.
Oh.
Okay, so let's put this entire scenario together. We have a heavy car that struggles under hard braking and a track famous for a heavy braking zone ending in a concrete wall. This sounds absolutely terrifying.
It is the definition of synergy and terror. But, that friction is exactly what makes driving the GT-R here in the simulator so incredibly rewarding. Because you have to remember the other side of the equation.
Right, that ATTESA E-TS 4WD system and those 572 horsepower.
Yes. Out of all those painfully slow hairpins, the GT-R provides just rocket-like acceleration. While rear-wheel drive supercars are spinning their tires and fighting for traction on the exit, the GT-R's computer is instantly routing power to the front wheels.
It's clawing into the pavement.
Clawing in, launching you down those long straights. You feel like an absolute god accelerating out of the slow corners.
But then, at the end of that 1 kilometer casino straight, physics comes to collect its dues.
The bill always comes due. You hit the brakes, the 7,700 kilos violently shift forward, and those rear tires go dangerously light.
And this is where the dynamic handling gets scary, right? You are threading a very heavy needle through the chicane. And if you get greedy with the throttle too early...
Right, if you panic about losing time and smash the throttle trying to power away from the wall, you might induce oversteer.
Oversteer, that's when the rear of the car steps out.
Exactly. You exceed the grip of those unloaded rear tires, and the back end just steps out on you.
And oversteering here means the back end of your GT-R is going straight into the Wall of Champions. Does the ATTESA system try to save you, at least?
It tries. It detects the yaw and sends power to the front wheels to pull the car straight. But physics always wins in the end. If the pendulum of that much weight is already swinging, the front tires just can't drag it straight in time.
It's too late. The sensory experience of managing this in GT7 must be just stunning.
It really is. The audio and visual picture they paint completely immerses you. You hear the deep roaring mechanical intake sound of the VR38 V6 echoing through the lush green park.
You've got the beautiful St. Lawrence River in the background. It's the serene summer day.
Completely shattered by the extreme visceral tension of breaking nearly 2 tons of metal from top speed. You bounce heavily over the chicane curbs, the chassis gets totally unsettled, and you are physically wrestling the steering wheel to manage the car.
And you graze the concrete face of the Wall of Champions by absolute millimeters. All while a digital woodchuck watches you survive by the skin of your teeth from the grass.
It's peak excitement. It's what elevates simulator racing into a true engineering exercise. You're actively managing a highly complex physics simulation of weight transfer and grip.
So to bring it all into focus as we wrap up, we've explored the incredible tension and thrill of pairing the all-weather super versatility of the 2017 Nissan GT-R with the ruthless stop-and-go gauntlet of Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve.
It's a combination that demands total respect. You revel in the explosive acceleration, but you pay for it with intense concentration in the braking zones.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a final provocative thought for you today.
Oh, the ultimate challenge.
Exactly. We've spent this entire deep dive talking about how terrifying it is to stop this 1,770 kilogram car with its factory 572 horsepower at the Wall of Champions.
Right.
But if you apply that GT7 engine swap we mentioned and you push this monster to over 1,000 horsepower, do you honestly think you have the reflexes to brake in time?
That is the big question.
Or will your name be the next one playing by the wall? Get in the simulator and find out.